So in the first query, we're creating a select table that returns one row for each of the categories that are associated with the table categories, and we're returning the categories by the musician ID, order date, the item, and the musician total that they have ordered. On the second query, we're selecting the statements and we're returning the musician's email from the musician's table. We're also returning the item price for the orders that they have purchased from the instruments table. And we're displaying this by the email address as followed by the total price with the discounted item prices here of the total, and we're approaching this by descending it with the total amount. On this third query, we are returning one row for the musicians that have the email addresses and the total number of counts that they have purchased with the total amount that they purchased as well. There we are. Let's see, for the fourth query, we're basically doing the same thing. The only difference is that we're returning all the items and the musicians that purchased an item that is over $400 and the total number of orders that they have purchased. On this fifth query, we're doing a select statement that introduces the name of the instrument as well, and we're using the roll up. So for the roll up, we're using the roll up function, so we could display the total amount at the bottom column that has a value of null here, with the total purchases prices here at the very bottom from each item or each instrument that was purchased from each person. Let's see, 666. For the sixth query, we're returning the musicians that have the email address associated with the musicians table with the distinct instrument from each musician. So basically, oh shit, did I run it? Oh no. So we're returning the email addresses with the how many different instruments that they have bought from that. On the seventh query, So on the seventh query, we're selecting the category name from the category table, and displaying the instrument name with the instrument column associated with each type of instrument. We're also using the roll-up table, and we're using the else, so that if it's a null value, we replace it with the category or the name that we want from. For example, on this one we have the category order quantity instead of being null for each category. Or we also have the instrument quantity over here. Let's see. From each item. Let's see. Some orders. Oh shit. I forgot to do that. Oh, on the 7th query, we're also using the roll-up function so that we can get the total number of orders that we're getting, or the quantity for each instrument. For example, like the guitars, we're getting 6 guitars. That totals up right there. And for the pianos, we're getting a total of 4 instruments ordered for the quantity. So we're using the if and the if then else statement case, and then substituting the null for the actual values. On this query, we're selecting the total number of orders and we're returning the order ID with the total price, with the order amount of that order. And we're doing this from the order instruments. So the way we're doing this is we're joining the instruments from the instrument table and the order instruments and we're combining them through their instrument ID. We're ordering them by the instrument order ID. That's about it. Let's see. On query number 9, we're just modifying solution number 8 to add another column for this for the select that combines the average total of each item sold. So if the total amount is $839 and we only have one item, the average is $839. If the total item is that, so we take the average of the total amount with the quantity. And for the last query, we're taking each item from the musicians table and the orders table, and we're combining it with the musicians ID from the order date to the item total and the musicians total for that item, depending on how many items they have bought that day or that given. We're combining them through every date associated with the musician and everything they have purchased. And that's it.